What is up, guys? We are back from YCS Sydney 2025, and we've got Wilson here from the Hornsey Boys. Hey. We all X3 scrubbed out day one, but I think we've got some very interesting deck profiles here. So, Wilson, what did we play today?
I am playing today Memento.
Memento, and why did you choose Memento?
I feel like going into this format, Memento is the third deck of the format that is hidden under the radar. That's what I strongly believe anyway. And because of the fact that it's hidden under the radar, flying under the radar, no one's actually really expecting to side deck for it.
Okay, Memento actually hasn't had too much representation recently. There was some representation at YCS Birmingham. What makes your Memento deck more interesting?
Well, looking at the other Memento decks, I guess a lot of them are going for either what I would dub Memento or the standard build. In this case, I'm going for what I call Gas Memento. It's going pure gas and no brakes. Mostly engine and not that many non-engine. So you'll see the non-engines I choose and the reason why. Yeah.
Before we go, what were your matchups like?
So I started the day going against Maliss. I won that one. Well, I won against both Maliss matchups that I had against, and that's actually a deck that counters Memento, but somehow I won both of them. I lost to Ryzeal, Blue Eyes, Buster Blader. I got Blader locked games 2 and 3, and then I lost to White Forest. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see what the spice is. Let's start with the deck profile. Where are we starting from?
All right, let's start with the main deck. 60 card main deck. So the idea of running 60 cards is because Memento naturally has a lot of bricks. So what we do is we up the starters and extenders, and basically to make up for the increased deck count, to try to hide the bricks basically. 3 English, 3 Darkblade, 3 Horse. So these are starters. They're all 1-card starters. They all do full combo, and this is standard. Almost everyone runs the XXM ratios. What's slightly not standard is that most people run 2, but we actually run 3 Goblin. 60 cards is one of the reasons. Nothing much to explain here. They're all 1-card starters. And Horse is a starter / extender as long as you don't have a non-Memento face up on the field. Darkblade also has the effect to target back row to pop on summon, and this actually came in quite often, so that's pretty good. Moving on to the next set of starters. These are non-Memento, and it is the Speedroid. We needed more starters, and this is a pretty good starter. What this does is that they access Goblin Biker, Big Gabonga. So Big Gabonga then searches the Goblin, and we eventually get into a Goblin and full combo from there. But I'll explain the combo a little bit later over there. And then these are what completes the Goblin package. And these are all the starters with 1 brick.
So for the Speedroid package in Goblins, that also has the added benefit of just disrupting the average Ryzeal board, right?
Yes, it does actually. There were quite a number of times where my opponent wasn't expecting the Goblin Biker part to come out. And either because I start with this to easily access Goblin Biker, or because I ended up with Anwich plus Sleepy on field, and then I just go into Goblin Biker, it completely breaks the board once these two come into play. Yeah. And if you hard open this, then the game is basically over going second against Ryzeal. So moving on, next is extenders / dodge / potential starters. So if you use these as starters, they're at bare minimum 2-card starters. Breakout needs a normal summon or a monster in the field basically. Party needs at least a Memento name in your hand. Fusion requires at least 2 Mementos. So Fusion is, I guess, the worst of the 3 in a sense, but not really as well. You really want to open Fusion because it's so powerful. And then a single 1-for-1. 1-for-1, self-explanatory. You can summon Goblin from it, you can summon Larry, or you can summon Mace. And Mace gives you access to Fusion, or any Memento name actually, because Mace searches any Memento name.
So we're also playing the Fiendsmith engine in this as well.
Yes. Moving on next, these are the Memento names. So we actually play 1 Mace, that's standard. We run 2 Gatic and 2 Sleepy. So other than the fact that having a second Gatic in deck when you hard open a Gatic, there's also a combo line where you actually require 2 Gatics. And also same thing with 2 Sleepies. And opening Sleepy is actually not bad. And then Akihiron, these are moving on towards the bricks of the deck. Akihiron Horn Dragon, which is a brick / extender, boss monster, and then we also run Cranium Burst, and then the necessary field spell, and then the last brick of the deck, Diabels.
So some Memento builds, some people go with Fracture Dance, and then some players tend to side out the Horned Dragon. So why did you guys choose to play specifically Horn Dragon? I can imagine the trap just because it's great as an Appaloosa replacement.
Yep.
But why Horn Dragon in main?
Yeah, so for a couple of reasons actually. One of the fact that I've actually mapped it out. For a 60 card deck where we want to optimize seeing at least 2 Memento names in our hand, we need exactly this number of Memento monsters in the main deck. And so these technically are flex spots. I guess this one as well. These are flex spots. So basically we want to fill in the flex spots. And the reason why we want 2 is so that if we open this, then having 2 is good. Or if we open this, having at least 1 is good. Having 2 Memento names with either of these is basically either a starter / extender or just a starter, depending on how bad the bricks are. Basically, this is a no-brainer. This slot goes into a 1-card starter. This slot goes into Sleepy. And then the next priority is Horn Dragon, because it's a good extender anyway for our main combo. And then Gatek is the last addition, especially after the discovery of that second combo, which I guess I won't be going through in this video, but I'll go through it sometime in the future.
Okay.
Yeah. As for Cranium Burst, the main idea of this deck is that Memento actually has problems playing into time. The main idea, if you win the die roll for game 1, you basically make a board that's so oppressive that your opponent basically scoops early. And then in game 2, you will have the luxury of the time to actually try to break their board. And if it doesn't work out, then you still have game 3 to play your game. But if you lose the die roll, the same idea applies. You want to make the game 2 end as soon as possible so that you have a longer game 3 to actually play. So the idea is anytime you go first, you want to full combo and end the game there on the spot without your opponent having a chance to do anything. So this answers any monster effects, any threatening monster effects, and this answers any spell trap. And most people actually, if they do run Diabels, they side it for if they go first. But the main idea is that if you win die roll, having Diabels game 1 is crucial for the immediate win in game 1. And from my experience so far, there has yet to be a match where I've lost game 1 when I won a die roll. Yeah, in fact, when I win the die roll, most of the time I just win the entire match. Next up, we have Fiendsmith. So I mentioned Lurie earlier. So we actually have the full Fiendsmith package with only 2 tracks, but we also play Fiendsmith in Paradise. So Paradise comes in clutch when you're going for the grind game. So either because your opponent hand trapped you to death or you didn't open too well, Paradise comes in clutch. So
one of our mates actually. So he's actually still playing right now. He also thought this deck was interesting, so he picked it up 2 nights ago. Last I checked, he was X and 1. He's killing it. However, he told me that in his build, he changed it so he didn't run Paradise, and then he actually lost the game because he didn't have this in main deck. So he's still a believer that it shouldn't be in main deck, but as Wilson said, it can come up.
Yeah, in fact, a lot of times I kept trying to side this out going second because I don't like seeing this in my hand going second, and I saw this in my hand 3 times going second. But whenever I side it out going second, it always comes up, and then I lost because I didn't have it. So I forced myself never to side this out, no matter what. And then moving on to non-engine. This is standard, Moltres Flawless. And then this is pretty standard as well. Droplet, it answers almost everything. All our main threats are answered by Droplet. And then I run 2 talents. Cold by the Grave, 2 Thrust, Harpy's Feather Duster, and then a Simul Arc Fiends. So yeah, Harpy's Feather Duster actually used to not be here in the main deck. It used to be in the side, and then what was in place of that was 3rd Track or a 2nd copy of Fiendsmith Track or the Goblin Biker Grand Entrance. I found that, for one thing, having too many Fiendsmith cards is kind of bad. I don't like seeing Engraver and Track in the hand, for example. It can come up where it's useful, but most of the time you don't really want to see that. So Grand Entrance is actually really, really very good if we are expecting to see more Ryzeals, but from my experience at the very least, I felt that the Ryzeal matchup wasn't nearly as difficult as the Maliss matchup. So the idea is that we want something for Maliss more, but Duster is really good against every matchup, to be honest. But the main reason why Duster left the side and came to the main is because of a side deck card, which I'm just going to spoil right now, and that is a Cave Dragon. We needed a slot for this. So our worry is that no matter how fast we play, if your opponent doesn't know how our deck works, they're going to read every single card, and that will take a very long time, and we might just go into time. That's basically the reason why.
Why didn't you choose to play 3 thrusts?
I didn't want to play 3 thrusts, mainly because I didn't want to see 2 ofs. So I'm fine seeing one of either of these, and I'm fine not seeing the thrust as well. But seeing the thrust or seeing the talents actually obviously would be a lot better. But I do not want to see like double thrust. And also, the main deck Simul Arc Fiend is specifically here if you're going first and Maliss drops a shifter on you. This came in clutch a lot of times. In fact, there was a game against Maliss today, the Maliss match that I won. I got shifted games 1, 2, and 3. And I won although I won a die roll, but game 1 and 3, I did see Thrust. So thanks to that, I actually won games 1 and 3 because of this card. Otherwise, that would have been an easy loss, getting 2-0'd by Maliss. And that is the main. Moving on to the side, I'll start with the very standard Memento fusions, the standard ratios as well. Not much to explain here. Guardian Chimera. So at one point, I removed Guardian Chimera for a Gave Dragon in the main, but Guardian Chimera does come up going second quite often, so I just tried it out, but I just saw Gave Dragons back in the side. And then Necroquip, Desiree, and then seeing the Diabels, you should expect a burr from it. And then the 2 XCs that I've mentioned before, well, one is obvious because Fiendsmith, and one is mentioned as part of the main engine. It's also part of the main combo. SP Little Knight, which is basically a Memento monster at this point. Abawaku, and then the Fiendsmith links. Plus Kashi, which is also part of the main combo.
Okay. Is there anything not standard about the extra deck?
I would, at first, I would like to say this, because we actually thought this deck up back in like November? Yeah, around November. So back then, nobody thought of this, and nobody thought of, I guess, the Fiendsmith package with the cross sheep. Not really, maybe. Mainly because Abawaku wasn't out yet at the time. But recently, people are starting to pick up on this, and yeah, it's a bit too late for us to shine. Yeah, moving on to the side deck. So this is pretty standard, 3 Lancia. Because we hate Maliss, we also run 3 Chaos Hunter. And then because also specifically for Maliss, but this works for Fiendsmith Ryzeal or Mitsurugi Ryzeal. But the reason why we chose Meowls over Purulia here is specifically Maliss as well. We have 2 Lightning Storms going second card, so these are supposed to go, pair up with the Duster, but Duster went to the main. And then the Gave Dragon for time. And then this card, Foolish Return. It's a little wonky, but there's a very specific reason why this is here. After testing, we found that the deck can struggle against the Mitsurugi variant of Ryzeal. So one of the best answers that we can think of is, well, other than DD Crow, of course, is Foolish Return, where when the Mitsurugi ritual monster goes to the graveyard, because it needs to go to the graveyard before it can come back to do the board wipe. And when it goes to the graveyard, we just return it back to the deck, and it can't come back. This actually works against Maliss as well. When they try to GWC06 White Binder, we just return the White Binder back to the deck. And yeah, so technically going second against Maliss, we have 14 hate cards. And
you won all of your Malice matchups today, right?
Yes, I won all my Maliss matchups. And I think 14 is correct for Maliss in a 60 card deck.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, mainly because Memento's kind of weak against Maliss. So engine to engine wise, Memento to Ryzeal, I feel Memento is slightly advantaged. And then with the Goblin cards, it makes it even worse. Memento to Maliss, we are already naturally slightly disadvantaged against Maliss. And they also run Shifter. So if they drop Shifter, you're almost always dead every single time. So we want, I guess, minimize dying to Shifter. And even if they don't Shifter, their engine is more often than not good enough to win the game. So yeah, we have all this side card just for the Maliss.
All right, so that's the whole main, extra, and side deck. And look, we've said a lot about how unique this deck is, but I think it's only fair that we show off a combo that really shows off what that makes this deck interesting. So let's get on to that.
So showing the combo, starting with single Anguish. So this is the very standard combo that gives you full pluses.
So what does Anguish end on for a standard Memento deck?
So for a standard Memento deck, Anguish ends on Tekutlika, Combined Creation, SP Little Knight, Memento Fusion, and then Bone Party. Well, obviously with the field spell as well. But that's the standard Anguish end board.
All right, so let's see what this deck can do.
So we start with a normal summon of Anguish. And then we search for Horse, special summon Horse from hand, activate Horse on field to destroy himself, to send Gatic and Sleepy, activate Gatic in graveyard to special summon itself, Gatic effect targeting Sleepy to add Sleepy into hand, and then we activate Sleepy, special summoning itself, then Sleepy on field effect to fuse. So to go into Twin Dragon. Twin Dragon on summon effect to destroy Memento you control, search 2, destroy Sleepy here, and then you add these 2 to your hand, which is Combined Creation and Horn Dragon. And then Sleepy effect, because it was destroyed by card effect, we send Memento Fusion. From here, you activate Memento Fusion, destroying a monster you control, which would be Twin Dragon, to add Memento Fusion to your hand. Twin Dragon effect triggers to special summon Anguish back from the graveyard. And then from here, you activate Memento Fusion, sending Combine Creation to the graveyard, returning Twin Dragon, and also Gatic. Put Gatic back to the deck. Twin Dragon goes back to the extra deck. Combine Creation is a fusion from hand, so it goes to the graveyard. And then you bring out Creation King. Creation King effects trigger, so you send 3. You send Cranium Burst, Akihiron, and Mace. From here, you activate Anguish effect to destroy Creation King, and you special summon Mace. And then Akihiron effect triggers to special summon himself. From here, you activate Creation King to search for the field spell, and then you activate the field spell. And from here, you activate Mace to destroy Akihiron to search Bloom Party. Chainlink 1, field spell targeting Akihiron. Chainlink 2, Akihiron targeting Fusion. You add Fusion back to your hand. And then the field spell special summons Sleepy. Then, because we have 2 level 3 bodies on the board, we XYZ into Big Gabonga and Gabonga effect. You add Doug's effect to detach from Gabonga to special summon Doug effect to search for a Goblin Biker spell, and then you activate Grand Entrance, you add Goblin to your hand, and on resolution, you detach from Gabonga to special summon the Goblin. And then just to load your graveyard, you activate Goblin to send 2 more names to the graveyard, doesn't matter what they are. And then from here, you link these 2 off into Moon of Closed Heaven, link it off into Requiem, you activate Requiem, special summon Lacrima effect, send Engraver, and then from here, you special summon Horned Dragon, and then you link these 2 off into Crush Heap. And then you activate Requiem, targeting Lacrima. You Contact Fuse into Echo Quip, and then Crush Heap activates, bringing back Lacrima. Then from here, you link off into Sequence, activate Sequence effect. You return Crush Heap and Moon of the Closed Heaven to bring out Performant. And then you activate Performant, sending Diabels. And then you link these 2 off into SPL Knight. SPL Knight effect activates, banishing Diabels, so that your Performant can special summon Diabels on your opponent's turn. And then from here, you activate Engraver's effect to special summon itself by returning Sequence back to the extra deck. Now, you can just XYZ them into Caesar. And from here, you just return 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to bring back Tekulika Combine Creation. And then you set these 2. And then in the end phase, the field spell triggers, allowing you to set Cranium Burst. Yeah, so on your opponent's draw phase, you can just activate Performant to special summon Diabels, and now your opponent's basically locked out of spells, in a sense, and then you have a lot of layer interruptions, with this basically locking them out of on-field monster effects. And yeah, this is the complete board.
Okay, so that was just a 1-card combo which led to a really strong board, but realistically you're going to be meeting a lot of hand traps, Vela, Imperm, Ash, Nibiru. Like, you don't summon Wave High King Caesar before or on the 5th summon. So how resilient is this combo to hand traps, and how do you navigate through them?
So a lot of the cards, especially things like Bone Party and then also Grand Entrance, even Fusion can work the same way. They allow you to dodge hand traps or extend past hand traps. So if they ash you, you can still use either Grand Breaker or Bone Party to search your other starter and continue the combo from there, or you can fuse and dodge, and you fuse and continue from there anyway. So if they Imperm Veiler you, all 3 of these dodges, so the effect will still resolve. And most importantly, this entire combo is completely, well, not completely, but it is immune to nib. If at any point your opponent nibs you in this combo, you will still at the very least end on Cranium Burst and Tekulika. And this is literally just 1 card. So if you have any more extenders, it's obviously more than that.
Alright, so that's one of the many combos that this specific build can achieve. But there was also one more combo, the one that used, was it 2 Gatic?
More of a normal summon plus Fiendsmith.
A normal summon plus Fiendsmith. So a bit of a reason why running 2 Gatic or 2 Sleepy is more than just, oh, we want another copy in deck just in case we open it, right?
Yes, although the double Gatic combo is not likely going to be covered here because it's very similar to this one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very, very similar. But the idea with that one is that the first Gatic is to bait Bestials, and that came up with all my Maliss matches today, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I baited the Bestial with that, and then full combo from there.
Alright.
Yeah. But I think it's more valuable to show how Fiendsmith plus normal summon can actually bridge to Memento. Although it's riskier to do, it is actually something that does come up, and it actually won me a game as well by doing that.
Okay, so thank you, Wilson, for showing us your combo, but you also have a YouTube channel of your own. Where can we find you?
Yeah, you can find me in Ixian channel, IXSIEHN and space CH dot. Yeah, so yeah, you can look me up there.
I'll put his YouTube channel in the description box, and go over to Wilson's channel, check out what other spicy Memento combos that you can learn from him.
Yeah, I will probably post detailed Memento combo tutorial in my channel sometime.
All right, thanks, Wilson.